So Sony has had an interesting and surprising couple of days. Alpha shooters and video pros have seen major discounts, but now they're seeing new camcorder leaks, some price hikes, unfortunately, that might hurt just a little bit, but we've also got some fresh gear and some fast moving deals, as well as a beloved lens that is going away. So let's jump in. So first off, if you've been using Sony's classic FE70-200 f4G lens, the original version from 2013 has now officially been discontinued. And according to Sony Alpha Rumors, as of July 13th, while you can still find new stock at retailers like B&H and Amazon, this marks the end of its official production run. And that discontinuation aligns with the arrival of its replacement, which is the FE70-200 f4 Macro G OSS2, which launched in July of 2023 and offers closer focusing capabilities and refined optics. Now, for shooters who still need a lightweight, sharp, constant f4 telephoto zoom, this lens may offer a bargain, but if you're buying new, the improved Macro 2 is now the go-to option. Speaking of purchasing, this video has a sponsor, and it's me. And unless I say otherwise, every video on this channel is backed by my photography business. Now, YouTube ad revenue is nice, but it doesn't keep the lights on, and I have a lot of lights. I am a working professional photographer and videographer, and this is how I make a living. I specialize in portraits, families, and video work for small businesses. So if you're in Las Vegas, LA, Riverside, Orange County, or San Diego, and you need a professional to make you content that actually makes you look good, I am available. You'll find booking info and links down in the description. So not to pile on, but here's some more bad news. You're now gonna pay $700 more on the 400 and 600 millimeter GM lenses. Honestly, this is a pretty tough pill for sports and wildlife shooters. Sony has quietly raised the prices on the FE400 f2.8 GM and the FE600 f4 GM lenses by $700 each. So the 400 millimeter, that now has an MSRP above $12,000, and the 600 is now over $13,000. That's a significant jump for a flagship telephoto lens that's already considered expensive compared to Canon and Nikon's equivalents. So is this just currency and inflation pressure, or is Sony officially signaling that flagship sports glass is becoming premium and low quantity? Either way, for working pros and agencies who rent these lenses, it might not matter. For ambitious hobbyists and those saving for years, every price move like this can sting. So are you surprised at the $700 price jump, or is that just something that we kind of expect in the cost of things these days with bleeding edge tech, especially here in the US? Next up, some good news. Finally, some good news. First, their flagship compact shotgun mic, the ECM778, arrives in a sleek aluminum body at 176 millimeters long, weighing a mere 102 grams. This is going to make it ideal for boom pole or on-camera use. It features a brand new Electret capsule, precision brass acoustic tube, and dedicated electronics for clear highs and solid mids, along with super cardioid directivity and a built-in low-cut switch. So Sony intentionally built this microphone in collaboration with top film sound engineers to ensure consistency and cinematic quality as it ships with both foam and for windscreens with XLR compatibility and phantom power. But alongside the mic, Sony has launched their fastest CF Express Type A cards yet. They've got a new 960 gigabyte and 1.92 terabyte card, as well as their new MRW G3 reader. Now these are the rugged, tough rated cards. They support CF Express 4 speeds and deliver up to 1800 megabytes read and 1700 megabytes write. Now that's more than double the performance of existing models as Gen 4 CF Express starts to hit the market. They can support guaranteed video streams of 400 megabytes per second, and the MRW G3 reader adds USB 4 support for up to 40 gigabytes per second. Bottom line, whatever you're filming, whether it's documentary, run and gun, these new pieces of equipment from Sony can give you cinematic sound in a compact package with a new powerhouse media card for serious data demands. Links to both of those down in the description. So I've got to break in really quick. This video was going to include a segment that was about a mystery camera that Sony was going to announce and release. And literally while I was editing it, two things happened. One, I broke my glasses. And two, Sony announced the RX1R III. So we can't really talk about it as a mystery, as we now know what it is. And what it is exactly is an update to the RX1R with a 61 megapixel sensor. And it looks like this sensor is borrowed from the A7R IV. Now it keeps its fixed focal length attached lens, as it is a flagship but compact body. And this is a Zeiss 35mm f2 lens. They've added AI subject tracking and focusing, powered by the XR processor. They've also added crop sensor shooting modes to simulate 35, 50, and 70 millimeters, which will take advantage of that 61 megapixel sensor, although I'm not really sure why you would want that. And like the A7R IV, it can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second in 10-bit 422, that's in S-Log, as well as S-Cinetone. It also supports USB-C power delivery for extended shooting time. It has a 2.36 million dot EVF, as well as a 2.36 million dot screen. Now, it's been 12 years since we've seen the previous version of this camera, and the previous version sold at about $3,200, $3,300. This version is now going to be $5,100 US. But to be honest, considering the market that this camera is going to be in, along with some of the Fuji rangefinder style cameras and Leicas, I don't know if folks are buying this camera if price is as much of an issue as it would be for some of their other maybe mid-range cameras, or even the camera that this borrows the sensor from. But I'm very curious to know what my audience feels about this. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about this. But I had to throw this in here because it happened while I was editing the video. So let's continue talking about the other Sony things that we were talking about. Next, and possibly pairing with those new pieces of equipment, we've got specs for two new Sony cameras. These are the Z380 and the FX8. These are E-mount Sony video cameras as we flesh out Sony's roadmap. Both look aimed squarely at hybrid and dedicated video shooters. Think about like documentary work, indie production, some commercial settings. So what do we know so far? Well, initial specs indicate that the Z380 will occupy the mid-tier broadcast and event market segment, building on what already worked with the FX3 and the FX6. So E-mount compatibility, internal ND, high bitrate, let's try that again, high bit depth codecs, Pro I/O, and updated autofocus. Meanwhile, the FX8 is where things get a little more interesting. This camera is expected to offer a true full-frame 12K sensor with internal 12K video, as well as more robust cooling to handle heavy-duty pro workflows. And if even half of these specs end up being true, then Sony is looking to eat into Red or Canon with folks who need full-size, uncompromised video. So let me know down below, are you running a 12K Blackmagic, right? Kofi, I'm looking at you. What's in your kit, or is this overkill for most real work? A couple of additional specs that we were able to find is dual CF Express card slots, timecode support, and updated color science tuned specifically for post-production workflows. There's also talk of improved battery life, smart autofocus modes designed for cinema shooters, and a ton of robust codecs for pro interfaces, which could make this the go-to for indie filmmakers aiming to stretch every single pixel. And lastly, if you want to support what I'm doing here, consider becoming a channel member. You get access to exclusive resources like we discussed. And if you're looking to book a photo or video session, all the details are down below. And down there as well are all of the links to the gear that I've been looking at that have some of the best deals possible, as well as my 2025 Essentials kit for folks getting into content creation. Now, those are of course affiliate links, so picking something up does help benefit the channel. But as always, the easiest way to support me here is to just hit that like and subscribe button. That's free and easy, and it goes a long way. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.